Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. In this video I'd like to introduce you to Kontakt. If you're just getting started with sound design and learning samplers, this video is for you, so let's get into it. Right off the bat, whenever you open Kontakt, this is gonna be the default window that is gonna pop up. Right here you have your file browser and your libraries. That is, if you chose to install all of the instruments that come along with it, they're gonna be located right here. I didn't because I really need some storage space. But this tutorial is going to be focused entirely on this window right here. So there is a few ways that you can load the sound to Kontakt. The first one is by coming right here, say to my desktop, and to my sound effects folder. Let's say that I want to choose my traffic light, so I can just drag and drop. Or I can come here to this icon and select a new instrument, and then come to Finder, select my traffic light, and drag and drop it to that instrument. Or, the easiest way, I can just come to Finder and drag and drop the file right into Kontakt. Cool, so right here under MIDI Channel, this is where you select the ports to connect to your MIDI keyboard. I'm just gonna go with Omni just for the sake of simplicity. And you can solo your instrument or mute your instrument as well. You can alter the pen to left and right. And right here in this range, you have your instrument settings. So right here under instrument options, you can change the key range, the velocity range, you can select the wallpaper, you can connect a controller if that's the case. And right here under mapping editor, this is where you can map your sounds to be played in a specific key or throughout your keyboard. So you can see that right here under this yellow C3 key, this is just telling me that that is the note of this sound. So if I play it on C2, it's going to be an octave lower, right? And to map the sound to the keys, you just click here and drag it to that key that you like. And also, if you notice this little blue bar right here, this is corresponding to all of the keys that this sound is assigned to. So if I drag it all the way right here, you can see that it changes as well. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to leave it as it was. Let's go all the way across my keyboard. Cool, so that's the mapping editor. And wave editor is where your sample is located. So you can see that right here, this green bar sets the start time and the orange bar sets the end time. So if I just put it right here and come all the way over here, then I zoom in a little bit. I'm just gonna place the green bar right there and the end bar right there. So right here you can make it loop. So let's enable this, and I have to zoom out again, and I'm just gonna drag this all the way to the beginning and place them something like this. So let's hear how it sounds. Well, actually I have to turn this track on and set this to input monitoring. And actually what I'm doing here is just sending this instrument track to this FX track if I wanted to insert any effects right there. And that's routed to this track, right? So whenever I play a key, so the sound is being played right here, then it loops there and it dies after the loop. So right here you can also edit the sample. So you have to make a selection, and let's say that I want to fade out. There you go. And then I'm just gonna undo it. If you wanna fade in as well, there you go. If you wanna reverse, you can do that as well. And you also have your cut, copy and paste, crop, and so on. Oh, and there's also this little glitch that whenever you get out of a mode, it resets to this view. It's really annoying. If you know how to deactivate this, please leave your comment down below, because I really don't know how to do it. But anyways, let's just continue. Okay, so right here, you have your source options. This, I believe, stands for direct from disk. And I think that when you have this selected, Kontakt is going to be loading the sound directly from your computer instead of from itself. But if you choose sampler, I think that does exactly what I just mentioned. And you can also select this tone machine, which is really cool. Let's say that I change the tune all the way, say, to 23. Let me just disable the loop. And there you have it. You can also change the speed. Right? And what's really cool about samplers is that you can assign these knobs to your MIDI keyboard. So if I just right click here and say learn MIDI CC, then I come to my MIDI keyboard and now I can control it with my keyboard. So whenever I play a key, right? And let's also do it to the speed. That's pretty cool, right? So I'm just gonna reset this again. And you can also change the format. I'm not gonna do it for this tutorial because I was experimenting some crashes before. So coming back here, let me choose Time Machine. And again, the knobs remain assigned, so I can keep changing right there. And the difference between Time Machine and Tone Machine is that it's not changing the tone of the sound, only the time of the sound. So now it's really high pitched and the speed is all the way down. Then tune down and speed up. That's not interesting at all. So speed down again. There goes some computer glitches right there. So moving on, right here under Group Insert Effects, these effects are affecting the group that you're in. So right now, if I come here to the group editor, you'll see that only this group is selected because, well, we only have one sound. So these effects are going to be affecting this group. If I had another group with another sound, this effect wouldn't be applicable to that sound. And so if I come here to Effects, you can see that I can apply all of the effects, but I cannot apply delays, flangers, chorus, reverbs, and so on. However, right here under Instrument Insert Effects, I can, because it's related to the instrument itself. Right, so I can apply a delay, chorus, phaser, convolution even, and so on. So let's put a reverb for now. Right? And right here, you can select between your dry signal and your wet signal. And so on. And to reset these values, let's say that you just modify the size and the pre-delay a little bit. To reset these values, you just hold Command and click the knob. And that should do the trick. Now, the difference between an insert effect and a send effect is exactly the same as in Pro Tools. So let me just load a reverb again. And right here, you'll see that you have this return knob. So I'm just going to bypass this reverb. And now I can control how much return do I have. So if I go all the way up, that's maximum reverb. And if I go down, that's a dry signal. And as in everything here, you can assign this to your MIDI keyboard. Or you can also assign these ones to your MIDI keyboard as well. But I think that this one is easier to control, right? But anyways, let me just bypass this as well. And right here under Modulation, you can modify the sounds envelope. So if I want, actually, let me go all the way up again and just change my end bar all the way down there. So right now you can see that whenever I press the key and release it, it's going to take just a little bit of time to actually die out. That's because we have a release of 300 milliseconds. So if I set my release time to 2 seconds, then I go all the way up and I press my key again, it's gonna die out in 2 seconds roughly. And that's especially good when we have our loop enabled. So let me just get my end bar all the way here. And now I'm just going to select my loop mode to until release. And now notice what happens to the play cursor. Right? And you can also modify the attack. And just to wrap this up, let me just zoom in a little bit. Make this larger. We can modulate the parameters as well. So if I right click here and choose a sine LFO, this LFO is now going to modulate the pitch, but we can also switch it to speed or grain size. And this little bar right here tells you the amount of modulation that's being applied in semitones. So if I have this all the way up to, say, 12 semitones, notice what happens to the tune knob right there. So it's going to be modulating in a range of 1 octave up and down, right? And you can also change the LFO values all the way down here. If I want to go all the way up or all the way down. So that's really good to make power ups and power downs. And that is pretty much it for this tutorial. If you'd like to know a little bit more about groups and how they work, check out the link in the description to a video that I talk more about it. And as always, I wish you have a great day and I'll talk to you soon. See ya!